Kaboom! Teach them! Always make sure the message reach them.
Live from Kingston, Jamaica, broadcasting around the world. You're watching the Teach Them YouTube show. Intellectual, yet stimulating. Fair, frank, and factual. This is Extra Class, streaming to the world and beyond.
You know, it's Teach Them, the #1 intellectual blogging panel on the YouTube channel.
Good night, everyone. Let me know if you're seeing me clearly. Let me know if you're hearing me clearly. If you're seeing and hearing me clearly, welcome to another episode of Extra Class, episode number 278. I trust that everybody who is in the hearing of my voice and seeing my face have been having a wonderful day. I trust that the people who are still at work on this Friday night, your shift will end soon. You'll get a chance to get home to your family in very short order. For the people who are on the road, please be safe, get home safely. But for the people who are at the home, ready for listen to teach about some things we have to jam down. Jamrock, Jamaica land we love. Land of Food and Water, Bob Marley, Usain Bolt, Vibes Cartel, Buju Banton, Shelly and Fraser Price, Elaine Thompson. The PNP, you understand? And some other party shop. You know what I mean? Peeps, we're there. Good night. You understand? I want to sleep. I'm drop asleep. Nobody wake me. Soon forward.
Kaboom! Teach them! Always make sure the message reach them. You know, it's Teach Them, the #1 intellectual blogging panel on the YouTube channel. Hey, yo, like, subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification button. Hey, yo, we always up to something. Teach them. Hey, yo, send the message and make it reach them. It's Teach Them right here. Warlord representing.
Yeah, peace. Me not even there is no time to waste. As Sizzler say. We're there. A little bit tired, but the work is the work. So I could get the ball rolling still. You know what I mean? Big up to the people who are there for the first time. You understand? Big up to the people who are there every time who are aged well like fine wine up to the time. I don't even know that Japan, but me just Japan. You understand what I mean? I say big up to the people. If you're there for the first time, well forward to the family. You understand? We appreciate the support for the people and we're there day in, day out. You understand? We give thanks. Peace. Please share the stream and you place them. I don't know I place them. I do even have to tell them. Big up to the ones that I show to you in the comment section. You understand? Dexter, you Wilson, Miss Funk, Rhyme Nation, Zane, Rosie B, Matthew Witter, all of the people. Them big up on a nice and clean self. You understand me? I say, no, big up some people as we forward down in our dance. Look over. You know what I mean? Peeps, give thanks. We're there, yeah. Mama, yesterday there were 205 new COVID cases with 5 new deaths. That are yesterday. For today, 24-hour period, 4 more deaths, which is 9 in 2 days. So, don't do the maths. You understand? 197 new cases. I suppose the election numbers are starting to roll in. I dare say. So Jamaica on Thursday recorded 4 additional. Could I want Amiran ball on the place? Jamaica on Thursday recorded 4 additional COVID-19 deaths, increasing the tally to 55. So up to this point in time, the 18th of September 2020, the country has recorded a total of 55 deaths directly related to the COVID-19 pandemic. One of them was from a previous case that was under investigation. 2 other deaths are being probed, pushing the figure to 8. So the new deaths are an 80-year-old male from a Kingston and St. Andrew address, 83-year-old female of a St. Mary address, 81-year-old female of a Kingston and St. Andrew address, a 67-year-old female of a Clarendon address. Yeah, if you pay attention to the age cohort, 80, 83, 81, 67. COVID afflicts and affects everybody from a few months to as old as you can think. But the reality is that the persons who are most vulnerable to become fatalities of the COVID pandemic are the elders among us, or senior citizens, or grandparents, or parents in many instances. So we have to continue to not only protect ourselves, but protect those who are around us. You understand? And I suppose the best way to protect the people around us is by protecting ourselves, isn't it? So let's continue. Meanwhile, there were 197 new cases with ages ranging from 2.5 months. Remember, I just tell you, to 86 years old, increasing the total to 4,571, with 3,169 of them being active. So much active cases we have at present, 3,169, and those are active cases that have been detected by the health officials. The possibility is that the same amount or probably more cases are out there that have not yet been detected. You understand? So it rough in a John shop. 39 more persons have recovered, increasing the total to 1,264. It's always a great worry when you have more active cases than recoveries, isn't it? Some 113 people are in hospital, with 23 of them being moderately ill and 9 critically ill. It's always important to pay attention to the numbers that are critically ill, as it means that these persons are in a bad state, yeah? And the worst could happen. Hopefully it doesn't, but that's the unfortunate reality. 13 persons are quarantined at a government facility, while a whopping 22,972 are at home. Wow. Good night, Kanaika. Yes, big up on yourself. Big up to all of the moderators, them. You understand? You don't know a thing go. Alone flagging from them nagging. You know what I mean? Jonah Gully, manners. So, that is the COVID situation. It was even more dire yesterday, as I said, with 205 new cases and 5 deaths. Today it's 4 deaths and 197 cases. I mean, it's not significantly different, but I have to give thanks to small mercies. I know I say God is good even on a bad day. Give thanks. Jaja, put an angel over me. Keep strong. Hold a firm meditation. One day, things must get better. Don't you go down. Keep your head above the water. One day, things must get better. Be strong. Hold a firm meditation. One day, things must get better. Man, I look forward to that day. That will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with new meaning, my country tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty. Yeah, right, fine. That's totally different from me. So me just get, when I'm Martin Luther King, I have a dream. But I have a dream that one day, not long from now, nice girls and teachers will be able to meet and greet because everybody will be COVID free. I have a dream that one day, teach will be able to recognize all girls because they will not be wearing masks anymore. I have a dream that one day, I can go back to party to dagger 2 girls because we don't have to worry about COVID. I have a dream. You have to just go and dream, Rasta. Yes, and you have different dream from my dream them. My dream them is my dream them. Yes, sir. Yeah. Man say, hey, man. Jaja, people have to take your teeth come out, but yeah, make we move on in I dance, because thing rough out there, Rasta. You understand? PNP stalwart, controversial figure, especially in the struggles that ensued between the political parties in the late 70s, early 80s. DK Duncan has died. I mean, people reach out and ask me, how come I not do no video upon DK? I was busy. Let's put it that way. Condolences to the family members, friends, associates of DK. Veteran politician Dr. DK Duncan has died. So Duncan passed away while at hospital. So the former cabinet minister was recovering in hospital after being admitted last month after testing positive for COVID-19. So I suppose one of the recent deaths in COVID-19 would have been Dr. Duncan. I am assuming that was not stated by the ministry, but I'm just saying. Zane? Oh, yeah. So he's the father of Imani Duncan Price, Patricia Duncan Sutherland, Keith Duncan, who is the head of the private sector organization of Jamaica. He's also, I think, the president of JMMB, if memory serves me correctly. Donna Duncan Scott, and Dr. Josina Duncan and David Duncan. One thing about DK, his children have all been successful and have all, done well for themselves or is doing well for themselves. So, suppose we need to give credit for that as well, because I think going to Jamaica with fathers. But DK, as I said, is a man who has been immersed in controversy for large parts of his political life. We don't need forgetting of that right now. The history has been written, the information is out there. Feel free to go and read it. Yeah, man, I think he's the president of the president or CEO. When I told them, I'm not sure. One of them, probably CEO, I'm not remember. But I know my somebody cross they were very important. And thing. Also, another PNP stalwart, Robert Bobby Pickersgill, has been hospitalized and is currently in intensive care. So former cabinet minister Robert Bobby Pickersgill is now in an intensive care unit at the University Hospital of the West Indies. Pickersgill, who served as Minister of Water, Land, Environment and Climate Change in the People's National Administration up to 2016, was admitted on Thursday. He was also the St. Catherine Northwestern MP from 1989 to 2000 this year. Pickersgill earned the title 7-star General before bowing out of politics, opening a door for former PNP councillor Hugh Graham, who succeeded him in the September 3 general election. So in a recent interview, the politician said that he was the only remaining senior political figure in his party who sat at the feet of every leader of the PNP, from Norman Manley to his son Michael to PJ, Portia, and Dr. Peter Phillips. Pickersgill also served as PNP chairman for 25 years, competing only once for the position when he trashed Phillips. Yep. The veteran politician entered politics while on Taylor at the University of the West Indies, Mona, then moved on to joining the PNP Youth Organization before he became chairman of the PNP St. Catherine Northwestern constituency. The article here make it sound like we are referred to Mr. Pickersgill in the past tense, but I hope that he will be able to pull through and come out of the intensive care unit. That would be a good first step. Zane, I don't know if he has tested positive for, if his test has returned a positive result, but they said that he would have been tested for COVID and is in intensive care. Yes, Rasta. So that's the thing there, Zane. Not sure the People's National Party need any more sad news at this point in time, because they are in a state of disrepair, disunity, disorganization. Why that sound wrong? Despondency, disbelief. This something. I search for an next word. I'm not find it. Yeah. And things. So from the elder to a youngster, a youngster that has, I suppose, a word to describing, I don't know, enigmatic, among other words here, sir. Let me see. I have one picture of the fellow. Where that there? Hold on the piece. Let me sort them things here properly. That's so much picture the rest have tonight. Wait. Oh, boom. I'm almost sure I have one picture of the young man. Same thing again. Dinner share. Dumpling and mackerel. Me give thanks. Cause something at the pot still. Me not find it. Let me see if I have it to run this because I need a picture there. Same thing again. Oh, yeah, so now I picture this one. And chat. Yeah. As we spoke, the last time I streamed, which was what? Sunday night, I would have spoken to the fact that Mr. Rohan Chung, independent candidate for the Central Manchester constituency, would have filed for a magisterial recount after he polled the third lowest number of votes in the constituency. He would have received, I think, about 62 votes preliminary count on the night of the election. The official recount would have given him 49 votes, and he decided that even though he would have lost by over 8,000 votes, he needed a magisterial recount because according to him, some 8,000 votes would have been robbed from him. He proceeded, I would have spoken at length about the fact that these magisterial recounts, some of them are unnecessary. It's an unnecessary burden on taxpayers. People, me and you have to go pay for this. Zane. And also in terms of holding up the court's time when it could be dealing with more important matters. I suppose that there should be a revisit to the Electoral Act, which should suggest that a candidate losing by more than 1,000 votes should not be given the opportunity to seek a magisterial recount. Magisterial recount should be in cases where there is significant doubt based on the margin of victory, based on both candidates polling equal number of votes, like in Eastern Westmoreland, I think, yeah. Saying, but it's not even, as me say, I'm not even Bunting file. Bunting would have lost by about 2,000 votes, give or take. Saying this man will lose by about 1 million votes. You understand? I waste the court's time. And yes, it is his constitutional right to seek a magisterial recount. However, in this instance, it was a waste of the court's time. It was a waste of taxpayers' money. And it never made no sense. Long and short of the story. Zane, alright. Rohan Chung gets $2.3 million legal bill for a recount. Blessings, Father Mike Larry. Oh, that's what you deal with. Alright, okay. Now say a word, family. Bless up yourself. You know what I mean? Give thanks. Controversial Manchester Central Independent candidate Rohan Chung, who had applied for a magisterial recount following the final count for the September 3 general election, was presented a legal bill of almost $2.3 million by attorneys representing Jamaica Labour Party MP Rhoda Crawford. I think he was also given a bill of about $150,000 by the lawyer representing Bunting. Don't quote me on that. Chung, however, claimed he will be seeking a judicial review following the outcome of the magisterial recount. There is doing and then there is overdoing. You understand? I want to tell the people that it is unfair when you find preliminary numbers coming in and persons are voting more than what is on the voters list. So as a candidate, I could not sit down and allow my constituents to not see that everybody is not a part of the cover-up and that everybody is going to be a part of a rigged system that is fabricating stories, he said. He claimed there were irregularities in the electoral process. There were a lot of problems in terms of records with the books and irregularities that would cause concerns. I will definitely be seeking a judicial review in the Supreme Court. That is my next move. But I am sure that this recount was handled very badly, he continued. So, he sought a magisterial recount. The court should have offered that opportunity. The magisterial recount was done. He apparently is still dissatisfied. Now he's still relying on the same court system where he must say aggrieve him for a solution to him problem. So I don't understand. But alright, I'm probably may that. The legal fees presented to Chung by Crawford's attorney amounted to $2,287,465. A bill was also presented to Chung by a counsel for the Manchester Division, Jones Oliphant, who represented the People's National Party's Peter Bunting. I got a submission for over $2.2 million. I just got another one for $150,000. And probably some other ones I hear about. So I will see what happens, Chung told journalists. Crawford, who was sworn in as Member of Parliament, believes there should be a review under which magisterial recounts can be filed. I think, though, that the time has come for us to look at the laws that govern when and how, and the conditions under which magisterial recounts can be filed. But I am very happy that the process is now complete. Chung say not complete because he want judicial review. You understand? And I am him sound like rural read lawyer. What name again? You wild man. Judicial review him talk about on a regular basis. You understand? And I am just anxious to serve the people who have elected me to serve, she said. You understand? So Crawford's legal team of attorney Tova Hamilton, who is a Jamaica Labour Party MP, Maurice Smith and Charles Benbow would have appeared in court. So Chung, who had 49 votes before the recount, lost a ballot. So the man got pay. Well, I don't know if the court will force him to pay it. So he would pay almost $2.5 million for losing a vote. You understand? So he lost one ballot while Crawford had her margin reduced by 53, but still won by more than 1,000 votes. Following the magisterial recount, Crawford got 8,139 votes and Peter Bunting of the PNP got 6,989. Sir. But I suppose Chung did say the money we spent on election was what? Box lunch money. So somebody very close to me said this is probably $2 lunch money for him. Then who knows? A man as good as this a man are the real man where Kyle tick like dumpling and pumpkin and some other things. I couldn't tell you. You understand? But this is really and truly foolhardy on his part. What he should do is to go in the constituency and try to do some work and remain visible, seen and endear himself to the constituents in preparation for the next election cycle. That's just me still. Well, that is what I would have done anyways. You understand? If I was so soundly beaten at the polls, I would have, regrouped, reassessed, and if I decided to continue, I would have spent the next 2-3 years in the constituency, you know what I mean, chipping away, seeing, becoming more visible, you understand, helping some people, seeing in various ways that are possible and economically feasible for me, and thing, and, you know what I mean, try build a rapport with the people, them, and stop going like me an idiot. That's all I have to say about that. Moving on, grooving on. You understand? Yeah. Blessings, Empress Marie. Appreciate that, Miss Swaby. Appreciate the support as well. The much loved Lisa Renee Anna, who would have survived a massive scare on election night, has emerged as the winner. Well, not winner because she was declared the winner from election night. Would have extended her margin of victory after the end of that magisterial recount in St. Ann South East. So Anna retained seat by 31 votes. Lisa Anna retained the St. Ann South Eastern seat for the People's National Party at the end of the judicial recount at the Senance Bay Courthouse on Wednesday. Anna eventually won by a margin of 31 as she scored 5,150 votes to the Jamaica Labour Party's Delroy grandson. So the ruling Jamaica Labour Party had sought the recount following Hannah's 14-vote victory in the preliminary count, a shock margin for a seat that was considered a PNP stronghold. So the official count after election day had bumped up Anna's margin to 32. Yeah, so that's the long and short of the story. So Lisa retained her seat by 31 votes. I mean, if you retain a seat by 1 vote, is retain the seat. But for a seat, but I suppose based on the PNP situation these days, I don't know that any seat in the PNP is a safe seat anymore. Probably Portia's old seat where Angela Brown-Burke have done, and probably Omar Davis old seat or Mark Golding. I think that is South St. Andrew, if memory serve me correctly. Zine, but them did say Eastern Portland safe. You know that go. Out of Westmoreland, them did say all of them seats are safe. You know that go. Zine, Bunting, well, I don't think nobody did say Bunting seat safe. Probably only Bunting did think so. So, right, I know apparently no safe seat in the PNP no more. Probably with the exception of a few. I mean, the margin of victory that Lisa scored, she cannot be comfortable. Zine, and I am certain, 100% certain that the Jamaica Labour Party may be harboring some regrets in that the first candidate who they selected and who, by all accounts, was gaining serious ground in the constituency, Reverend Rohan Simpson, who had violated his curfew, his quarantine order, and was removed. I am certain there are discussions within the Jamaica Labour Party in the effect that if Simpson had run, they would have won the seat. I am absolutely certain that discussion is going on. Anointed and blessed. It's a long time I haven't seen an Empress. Hope you are still anointed and blessed first and foremost. Not sure why I haven't seen you in such a long time, but I'm glad to see you. And I said, buy one Baba Roots and an Irish mash. or cartels, Jig Baba Roots. I never buy June. But big up yourself, Empress Anointed. We appreciate seeing you, and we appreciate the support, and we appreciate the contribution. Blessings every time. You know what I mean? Something. But I mean, that's a matter of conjecture, I suppose, because Ron Simpson couldn't run and still lose. But I'm saying, I am certain that some people in JLP quarters are saying that if Simpson did run, and now then lose the seat. You understand? But the writing may well be on the wall, saying, or maybe there's a chance for Lisa to pull up her stockings and roll up her sleeve, Zane, and get to work. You understand? So who knows? That's really yeah, oral girl. That's right. A long time I don't see that tune still. I don't see a word. Big up yourself, Nigel Taylor. Also, another magisterial recount. Well, you, Graham of the People's National Party, would have held on to that seat that was vacated by Robert Pickersgill and contested by Newton Amos of the Jamaica Labour Party. So that magisterial recount would have ended in favour of the person who was declared winner on the night of the election. And the challenger, Newton Amos, well, his lawyers would have said that they are satisfied with the outcome. They had to do the magisterial recount based on the margin of victory, but they are satisfied that due process would have been given to the situation, and you know what I mean, they move on. So I don't know him to Mr. Rohan Chung. Also, another magisterial recount, Zane, between Luther Buchanan of the People's National Party and Daniel Lawrence of the Jamaica Labour Party out in Eastern Westmoreland, ended with victory going to the Jamaica Labour Party candidate. Remember that on election night, Daniel Lawrence was given the seat. The official recount ended in a dead heat. The presiding officer then put both candidates' name in a hat and draw one. Yeah, the one where she draw, or here, I don't know if it's a he or she, I don't remember, was the PNP's candidate Luther Buchanan. So he was declared winner. So the magisterial recount was filed for by Lawrence and the JLP. At the end of the count, Daniel Lawrence prevailed. Damian White, big up yourself in a broski. You know, I appreciate the support and the contribution every time. You know what I mean? Give thanks, Rasta. So JLP's Lawrence prevail in Eastern Westmoreland Magisterial Recount. This is another seat that they were saying was a safe seat. This is the seat that was held by Percival James Pattison. You understand? Considered to be the safest of safe seats. Daniel Lawrence of the Jamaica Labour Party has been declared winner of the Eastern Westmoreland seat in Parliament, following a magisterial recount which concluded at the Westmoreland Parish Court on Tuesday. So Judge Steve Walters handed Lawrence the victory with a count of 4,862 votes for the JLP candidate. 11 votes more than the 4,859 tallied for Luther Buchanan of the People's National Party. Independent candidate Haley McHale received 36. So the result overturned that of the official count, which was given to Buchanan after both candidates tallied the same amount of votes. Now, I forgot through that. And the returning officer cast a deciding vote. Well, I don't know that the returning officer cast a deciding vote, but pull one name from the hat. So it means that the Jamaica Labour Party has increased its seat count in the House of Representatives to 49, with the PNP having to settle for 14. So now, that is it for recount. Well, I think there is supposed to be a recount in Manchester, Northern Manchester, Northern Clarendon. I think that's the constituency, the name between Enriquez and Richardson, where you had 1,107 ballots being rejected. Enriquez of the JLP was declared the victor on the night of the election and after the official recount. So let's see how that one goes. So I don't know, Rasta. We'll be spending some time inside the PNP for a little bit. You understand? So now, change or die. Crystal Tomlinson, the very feisty Crystal Tomlinson, would have penned a letter in her capacity as president of the PNP youth organization, demanding that party president and de facto opposition leader Peter Phillips resigns officially in 30 days, and also made demands of the list of persons that should be named senators for the People's National Party. Tomlinson has never been one to shy away from voicing her opinions. She has been suffering too from what I call the foot in mouth disease. Kashif Powell, Northwest. Thanks, my friend. You don't always remember them something here. Zane? And she would have made some utterances before where she would have been ostracized and vilified. Zane? Now, I understand her desire for penning such a letter, but this is my view on the situation. The PNP is so torn and tattered and beaten and battered. Bombard one time that, you know, don't copy me thing. Zane, the PNP is in such a state of turmoil. This is such a tumultuous time for the people's national. Yo, before I big word, you know, for the People's National Party. Could it not have been where Crystal, having the concerns that she had and raising the letter, sought audience with Peter Phillips, and they sat down and discussed the concerns and reached an agreement or an impasse for that matter, Zane, instead of releasing that letter to the public? I just ask that one question. Zane, also, I get this sense from Crystal that she is entitled to things. That is the vibe we get from Crystal. She has an aura of entitlement. Yeah? Imagine writing to your party president telling him that you should be a senator. I don't know that you do that. You understand? I understand say in these times you have to have people in the PNP that are strong and willing to broaden them back and take some licks. But I suppose right now, and I tweeted on Twitter the other day. Well, I suppose I tweet upon Twitter. I tweeted, say, it's warm to the PNP and letter so. Like, I will letter to the PNP. I warm to PNP and letter. Them set letter upon the PNP. Everything is a letter, is a letter, is a letter. You understand what I mean? I said, what about sitting down in a room, Zane, and fighting out the thing? You understand what I mean? I said, Peter Phillips cannot back. I don't know why people are suggesting that. DJ Roddy Mac, big up yourself in the family. I appreciate the contribution and support. I don't think that Peter Phillips has gone back as in his word or is going back on his word. Peter Phillips will eventually walk away from the party. But the reality is that looking at the party from outside, the state of the party at this point, and remember, you have members of the party who have asked Peter Phillips to stay on until a new leader or a president has been elected within the party, And people from outer road are certain people within the party. So obviously people in the party say the thing set away, the thing is so bad that you need a little bit of stability. You understand? You need money to stabilize the sinking ship and bail out some water, until a president is selected. You understand? So Peter Phillips can't run at the next general election. Peter Phillips resigned, asked that a party leader be selected, and he was asked to stay on until that process is complete. You understand? So make we get the information correct before we pass the judgments. You understand what I mean? So Peter Phillips given 30 days to quit. He has also rejected the PNP YO Senate list. People's National Party President and opposition leader Peter Phillips appears to have rejected suggestions of the party's youth organization for Senate appointments, even as he has been given an ultimatum by the young comrades to vacate his post within 30 days. The new opposition senators who were sworn in are Norman Orne, Janice Allen, Gabriel Morris. I mean, there's a little bit of controversy around Gabriel. Some people are very happy, some people are saying, hold on. But long story short, Donna Scott Motley, Floyd Morris, Sophia Fraser-Binns, Damian Crawford, and Lambert Brown. Phillips said the group reflected the PNP's commitment to a Senate that is deliberative body. Well, that is a distinct deliberative body and intended by the Constitution of Jamaica, as intended by the Constitution of Jamaica. Unsuccessful candidates in the recently held general elections were overlooked. None of the 7 names suggested by the PNP-YO had been included in the final list of the opposition senators. The recommended list sent to Phillips by the PNP-YO were YO President Crystal Tomlinson, Michael Hemmings, Zeluka Jess. I think Zeluka Jess ran against Mike Henry in Clarendon. Raymond Price, he would have run against Orlando Terrelong in East Central St. Catherine. Patricia Duncan Sutherland, she would have run against Pernell Charles Jr. in South East Clarendon, not certain if I saw the constituency name. And Waverly Hines, he would have contested a seat either in Hanover or Westmoreland, I don't remember. So in a leak letter under the signature of Tomlinson, the PNP-YO, on Monday called for Phillips to make clear his resignation date within 30 days and before the local government elections, which are due in November. I doubt that those elections will be held in November, though, but I could be wrong. If our councillors and councillor candidates are to escape a fate similar to our parliamentary candidates, electors must be convinced that the PNP is changing gears. And among the changes they accept is new leadership, the letter stated. Which is fair. Zane? Phillips, in the aftermath of the heavy defeat on the 3rd of September, indicated that he had sent in a resignation letter to the chairman of the party, but would hang on until a new leader was elected. Phillips said he intended to fulfill all the roles that were linked with the PNP presidency, including being leader of the opposition. So the PNP is to establish a committee to investigate the election loss. They did establish that committee and asked professor from the University of the West Indies, Canute here, to oversee the committee. He would have agreed initially, then he wrote to them saying that him not about to do it. So that's the next problem. I couldn't tell you what go on there. So now, but according to the PNP YO, it saw firsthand the critical failures, quoting, in the party machinery that limited the capacity to mobilize even their traditional bloc of voters. The PNP were on Monday night locked in an executive meeting at the Michael University College where several issues critical to the party's functioning were being discussed. Among them is grumbling arising from the redundancy exercise that was executed by the party on some of its core staff after the defeat. I soon give you some more info on that. So it is understood that the National Workers Union has sought to step in as workers demand transparency. At least one motion was tabled at the meeting concerning the fate of the president. It is understood, but it will be discussed at another meeting, I suppose. Also on Monday, Prime Minister Andrew Holness named the full slate of government senators to be sworn in, you know, all of them people that were sworn in. So the 13 government senators include some who sat in the upper house during the last term. However, there are 3 new faces. Losing candidate Natalie Campbell Rodriguez, Leslie Campbell and Shireen Golding Campbell. Golding Campbell, an attorney at law, interestingly, is the daughter of former Prime Minister Bruce Golding. They replaced Robert Nesta Morgan. Robert Nesta Morgan is now Minister of State in the Ministry of Education. He's responsible for information, I suppose. Currencia Morrison and Tova Hamilton, who have been elected to the House of Representatives. Kamina Johnson-Smith, Matty Samuda, Arbin Hill, Tom Tavares Finsel, Cavan Gale, Ransford Braham, Charles Sinclair, Don Webby, Delroy Williams, and Sophia Longmore are the returnees. And as I tell you before, the PNP slate is Donna Scott Motley, attorney at law. She remains as leader of opposition business in the Senate. Dr. Floyd Morris, university lecturer and director of the Center for Disability Studies at UA. Sophia Fraser-Binns, attorney at law. Damian Crawford, businessman. Norman Horn, businessman. Lambert Brown, trade unionist. Janice Allen, business development consultant. And Gabrielle Morris, communications specialist. She's the youngest ever senator to be named. She is still a student at the University of the West Indies, I understand. So, that's one part of the PNP conundrum. Yeah? Moving to the next part. There was a letter, another letter, apparently, because Fitzjackson is saying that he never get no letter. It was WhatsApp communication which has been leaked. One whole heap of brouhaha. Golding objects to signing letter to Governor General expressing confidence in Phillips as opposition leader. I'll read it again. Mark Golding objected to signing a letter to the Governor General expressing confidence in Phillips as opposition leader. Before me even go any further, I kind of do a little analysis of this in my own little big head. Zane? That is so redundant, but you understand? Watch out. I'm not redundant to that. But never mind, yeah. If I was a betting man, I would have wagered my bets on the fact that Mark Golding did not sign that letter primarily because he did not want to let down his best friend, Peter Bunting. Yeah? That is my instinct here. Because even though Bunting out in the cold, many people are of the view that if Mark Golding should become the president of the party, he would simply pave the way for the grand return of Peter Bunting. And I am going to go out and say it again. In my humble opinion, Mark Golding did not sign that letter simply because he did not want to let down his longtime friend and business partner, Peter thick like Kyle dumpling bunted. But make we move on. South St. Andrew MP Mark Golding objected to signing a letter to the Governor General expressing confidence in the PNP President Dr. Peter Phillips as opposition leader. Yeah, Mr. Golding in a letter to the PNP Chairman Fitzjackson let me say, because I don't know why Mark hide back on my big head. Don't know what on. Mark in the garden, hiding. Yeah, man, see Mark there. Mark can't hide that more. My head big, see, but Mark can't hide back at this time. Watch you know. Mr. Golding in a letter to the PNP Chairman Fitzjackson expressed some discomfort with the process by which the letter was requested. He also expressed concerns over the appointment of 8 opposition senators. Mr. Golding, in writing to the party chairman, informed him that he had not even seen the letter which was to be sent to the Governor General. He says, however, that he had already informed Mr. Jackson that he would not be signing the letter. Mr. Golding cited as reason that he did not like the way in the signing of this letter. He did not like the way the signing of this letter was being foisted on him. I want to stop foisting upon the man. I want to do no foisting ways. This, he says, was being done without there first being a fulsome discussion among the MPs about who should be the leader of the opposition for this interim period. The South St. Andrew MP says instead the appointment was presented to him as a fait accomplice. I think what I pronounce that correct. That was not even up for discussion. Fight that sound Latinish. Smarty, well, and I like me got you to pronounce it still, but I'm not sure that's right. But then say my name did go Latin school like. You understand what I say? Which one me there now? He says that approach did not sit well with him at this time, even though he understood it to be on an interim basis. Mr. Golding, may I tell you something else about Mr. Golding? No. Mr. Golding also raises concerns over the appointment of the 8 opposition senators. First, Mr. Golding says he thought this is an important opportunity to choose persons who would send a clear signal to Jamaica that the party has listened and is embarking on a process of meaningful change. He says no assurance was given that this would be done. Second, Mr. Golding says the senatorial appointments are particularly important at this time because the JLP now has a supermajority in the House of Representatives. This, he says, leaves 8 opposition senators as the only buffer against them forcing through dangerous amendments to the Constitution, which is a very fair point. Don't get me wrong. You understand? Mr. Golding says the tenure of the senators is for the life of the new parliament. So basically, them senator that Peter Phillips select is for the life of the parliament. So until the parliament is dissolved, in the case that an election is declared, they will remain senators unless them choose to resign. So when Peter Phillips stepped down, anybody who will become the leader of the party don't have the constitutional rights to remove the senators. It is only if them choose to resign. The only time the senators can be changed is after one next election call, and you understand, one next cycle come around. So that is a cause of concern. Me understand, yeah? Mr. Golding says the tenure of the senators is for the life of the new parliament. So the appointments will be binding on the next leader of the opposition unless they choose to offer their resignations. Mr. Golding, who's been seen by many, and I think herein lies the problem. Mr. Golding, who is being seen by many as a potential future leader of the PNP, says, given these 3 concerns, he thought that the senatorial appointments ought to have been dealt with more inclusively, rather than being treated as a matter for the exclusive decisions of the interim leader of the opposition. He says in his eyes, the matter of the letter was inextricably entwined with these concerns. Mr. Golding says essentially he was uncomfortable with the process that was being followed in the unprecedented circumstances of the current situation. However, he says the process is one thing, while the decision is another. Mr. Golding says Dr. Phillips retains his full support But the man really retain your full support if you not sign a letter, brother. Between me and you, like. We not have to tell Bunting, but between me and you, the liar tell. You understand? As leader of the opposition until his successor is elected. Worries in the dance, worries tonight, worries in the dance, worries there. The PNP is very entertaining. I would have never lied to you. You understand? Yeah, man. Them is comic relief in a serious time. We don't get on a thing together. We don't say country need one opposition. We don't blind or something. If vote of them thump out to the eye too. Look here, man, we don't get on a thing together. This whole heap of foolishness now go fly with nobody. Cause apparently there is so much in this article. If you sit down and pay attention to it, you have palpable discord. Jaja, I don't know Rasta's motor would have said. Zin, but say now, the chairman of the PNP, who is a supporter of Peter Phillips, I don't know. Yo, we are going to go sleep. We are going to bed. And the stream even started and I didn't even talk about that yet next week. Watch it. Oh, one more thing. If you start give me some credit around here now. You understand? If you start give me some credit, boy. Yeah. I call Eastern Portland by election. I call St. Mary one election. I don't remember St. Mary one when our man don't win. I call the general election. Zane, I telling you who going to be speaker at house. I telling you say, you don't know yet, but I telling you, say, Damian Crawford, I wait till Phillips step down for contest the constituency there. Zane, and said Damian Crawford I go vie for the president of the party. Uno not teach them no credit, boy, you know. But me I watch you know. Me I watch you know like how Golden I watch Phillips. You understand me I say? Me I watch you know, man. Oh no. Uno don't know. You understand? Uno need to teach them some credit, boy. You understand? What you know? So Mark Golding is an ally of Peter Stunting Bunting. While Fitzjackson is an ally of Peter something Phillips. I don't know why. You understand? Auntie. So it is still a chess game being played out right around here, so around another part, around one place, you know. You understand what I say? So, I want to look on the thing and realize that instead of the PNP trying to find some healing, they are digging themselves into a deeper hole. You understand? Because watch you know. Troubling. Jackson concerned about release of WhatsApp communication. So apparently, the discussion between Mark Golding and Fitzjackson was not via no official letter, but a WhatsApp conversation which was leaked. Why? Yo. Jaja, worries in the dance, worries tonight. Listen what go on in the dance. You dance hot. A beer don't play to play. No 45 round here. Special. Troubling. Jackson concerned about release of WhatsApp communication. Chairman of the People's National Party, Fitzjackson, has described as unfortunate and regrettable the release of private communication between himself and the Member of Parliament for St. Andrews Southern, Mark Golding. So this is what two team them? One name Rise United and one name what? What their name? Rise United and what next one name? You tell me them. I know. You don't me wait. Zin, so we're still having Phillips versus Bunting, even though Bunting not about. Because Mark Golding is really and truly an agent of Peter Bunting, while Fitzjackson is really and truly an agent of Peter Phillips. So there's still this inertia taking place. Yo, me tell you this, them part of politics that be like, because me tell you something, I sit down more time and I watch them, you know. I watch them run some corner about and then I pre them like, I don't know, you know. I swear to this, you know. So I go on. You understand what I say? Watch out. Listen to this. Jackson says he was surprised to discover that a WhatsApp communicate. Look here. You see when I send on WhatsApp, you don't send it go get nobody. Don't make me I don't have anything. If you ever share my WhatsApp conversation, me I don't have problem. Don't do it. Hey Cams, how are you? It was nice seeing you to Empress. Big up yourself. You understand? So watch you now. Jackson says he was surprised to discover that a WhatsApp communication he received from Golding about 11:30 p.m. on Tuesday night was in the media for public discussion by
To query your prescription, you'll need to first link a pharmacy skill in your Alexa app and set up your voice profile and passcode.
Alexa move like a people's national park. Jumpy. Jaja. Yo. Sir. What's over there though? I don't even know Rasta. Sir. Right now. I don't know. Boy, I tell you. Jackson says he was surprised to discover that a WhatsApp communication he received from Golding about 11:30 p.m. on Tuesday night was in the media for public discussion before 8:30 the next morning. Golding wrote to Jackson to outline his discomfort with a move by opposition MPs to write to the Governor General to express support. Express support for Phillips MPs for the PNP President Dr. Peter Phillips being named opposition leader. Jackson in a statement said, Jackson in a statement that he released indicated that he and Golding spoke about the issues raised, exchanged further views, and agreed to move on. He is urging party members and supporters to avoid actions and public utterances which do not serve to heal and uplift the party. This is the statement from Fitzjackson, chairman. Having regard to extensive media coverage of a message sent to me by Comrade Mark Golding, I feel compelled as chairman of the People's National Party to issue this statement. I don't know why I'm to the PNP and letter. Is who said letter upon the PNP? Wanna take you off? Listen, the presence of the text of WhatsApp communication to me from CD Golding in the media yesterday morning, the 16th of September 2020, was most unfortunate and regrettable. It was quite surprising that the text of that message was delivered to my phone at 11:30 p.m. Tuesday night. Was in the media discussion before 8:30 a.m. the following morning before I got a chance to read it and respond. After reading the message, the contents of which were not entirely shared with me before, I responded and reminded Comrade Golding of certain discussions and meetings held last week, which if disclosed may have given a different impression from that given by his message to me. We exchanged further views and agreed to move on. However, I must reiterate that I did not receive a formal letter but a WhatsApp message, and I assumed, particularly following prior exchanges with CD Golding on these matters, that this was a private communication. The almost immediate placement of the WhatsApp message in the media is therefore very troubling. This action is unhelpful to the party's most urgent task of seeking, through its current leadership, transition and rebuilding mission following our recent defeat at the polls. I urge all members of our party and others of goodwill to avoid actions and public utterances which do not serve to heal and uplift the party, especially at this time when we all must act to protect one of our country's most valuable public institutions. Yo, I don't know, Rasta. I don't know. Tell you what. Our next political prediction. The People's National Party will remain in opposition long in the future if they do not discontinue their constant thirst for power for everybody in the party. It's like everybody want to be the party leader. Everybody and them friend want to run the party. The party can only have one leader. I suppose I did say one leader still, but we don't know what going to run this or run another party or another time there. One leader. And if you want your party to become relevant again, the entire party ought to be in support of said one leader. The reality is that even if the party, the People's National Party, is united, they will still have an uphill task to dislodge arguably the most popular prime minister in the history of the country, Andrew Holness, despite all of the scandal bags him a walk around with. So how then can a party that is not united, a party with the members of the choir not singing from the same hymn sheet, even think about toppling a very popular administration? And this is sad for a democratic country. Yeah? Any strong democracy needs a strong opposition. If not in numbers, in vision and mission. And all that is happening in the People's National Party is infighting. And this infighting, and in a start yesterday, this infighting has been going on for years upon years. From Peter Phillips and him friend them start called Portia Simpson Duns. From them time they to right now it a go on and just yesterday, The party has never recovered from those presidential elections between Peter Phillips and Portia Simpson Miller. So how the party will recover from the presidential runoff between Phillips and Bunting? And it's still suffering from the scars of them two presidential runoff there. They continue to put band-aid over sore foot and expect say it to go heal. You have to go just chop off your foot sometime, family, and get some prosthetics, brother. You understand? And my concern is simply out of the fact that in a democratic country, we need a strong opposition. And let me say, the numbers are not strong because they were soundly beaten at the polls. So the numbers are not strong, but then you need to be strong with your vision and your mission. You understand? Strength in number are one thing, but you can also be strong and powerful. Look on 300. A 300 man, versus thousands of people, So they did not have strength in numbers, but they were courageous, they were brave, and ultimately they were united. So even though they all died in the end, they gave it their all. Is the People's National Party giving Jamaica them all? DNJ, we don't need to get into the technicalities. Whether you want broke it down, sir, broke it down, sir, broke it down up, sir. Andrew Holness is one of the most popular prime ministers in the history of the country. It no matter how you want to slice it or dice it. So if a 10 somebody vote, he is still one of the most popular prime ministers in the history of the country. You understand? So, we're not done with the PNP yet, you know? No, we're not talking about Jamaica Ace of Spades. We forget about the Manley and Seaga debacle right now. That's the Jamaican context we are looking on. We are looking on the People's National Party context. Seaga never in the People's National Party. You understand? So now, as I've told you before, that Damian Crawford has been biding his time trying to move himself around the draft board in a one look type of way. But maybe not observe him, you know. But you don't know. You understand? Many people forget that Damian Crawford is a vice president of the People's National Party, and a matter of fact, he received the greatest number of votes from the delegates as a vice president in the last elections within the party. Damian Crawford also has been very strategic in how he operates, and let me tell you how. I observe them and they don't know, you know. Damian Crawford had the opportunity to back Bunting or to back Phillips. I think he decided to back Phillips, having sat down and analyzed the situation, knowing full well that Phillips' political life cycle was very short compared to Peter Bunting, and as such his own personal aspirations could be realized quicker if he sided with Peter Phillips. My observation. Also, it was very strategic that Damian Crawford, who is the most popular member of the People's National Party, as the polls continue to suggest, and the most popular member of your party did not contest an election that you were behind from the get-go. How come? Damian has been sitting down, patiently waiting for Peter Phillips to step aside so he can control his seat and also vie for party president. I want to know, listen to teacher. You understand what I say? I want to know, listen what the teacher say. And all you hear them matter about Mark Golding and this and that, Damian Crawford is in prime position to be the president of the People's National Party. Take it from the big head boy. Damian Crawford interested in PNP presidency. Tell me something I don't know. People's National Party Vice President Damian Crawford has indicated that he is interested in the leadership position. Wow. PNP President Dr. Peter Phillips has notified the party he intends to step aside following the defeat. We know all of that long time. Speaking Wednesday on the morning agenda on Power 106, Mr. Crawford said a few members of the party are interested in becoming president. When asked whether he's eyeing the position at this time, Mr. Crawford said, let me tell you, I'm going to make Crawford tell you what he's saying himself. Let me see if I can find it somewhere boy place. Crawford, yeah.
I don't think there's anybody within the party that if they were offered the leadership would have refused it because they believe they're incompetent or otherwise. So I think quite a few of us are interested.
At this present time?
With ambition. Your ambition is not the only consideration when you're looking at leadership. Do you have the support? Do you perceive yourself to be ready or capable to be ready in time for this election? Can you deliver what is necessary for the party? Those are questions, and I'm seeking to answer those questions myself.
From the horse's mouth. Damian Crawford never did need to tell me that, because me know that for a long time. Una can't hear, what I mean, una can't hear. Then Damian now whisper, I'm say me can't play it again.
I don't think there's anybody within the party that
He
if
low
they
for
were
true.
offered the leadership would have refused it because they believe they're incompetent or otherwise. So I think quite a few of us are interested.
At this present time.
With ambition. Your ambition is not the only consideration when you're looking at leadership. Do you have the support? Do you perceive yourself to be ready or capable to be ready in time for this election? Can you deliver what is necessary for the party? Those are questions, and I'm seeking to.
All right, people are saying well, low. So let me see if me can read what he say. Him say, I don't think there's anybody within the party that if they were offered the leadership would have refused it because they believe they are incompetent or otherwise. So I think quite a few of us are interested, including Philip Palwell. Why? However, he acknowledged that individual ambition is not the only consideration for leadership. Do you have the support? Do you perceive yourself to be ready or capable to be ready in time for the election? Can you deliver what is necessary for the party? Those are questions, and I am seeking to answer those questions myself, he said. So the man has publicly declared that he is interested in leading the party. As I said, if you have been paying attention to the political wranglings and movements, you would have realized that long donkey years ago. You understand? So, this is not new for the teacher. Zin? So watch you now. Many people have been saying Lisa Hanna would have received a major kick in her knee and her ankle them because of her slim margin in the elections. Yeah? And I would have said it before, I think many people who are calling for Lisa Hanna as party president for the PNP and potential prime minister are probably doing it from an emotional perspective and not from a political best fit perspective. Because the reality is, Lisa Hanna in any PNP presidential runoff will not win. I'm going to bring you back to the point. Lisa Hanna was unable to win a vice president seat in the last election. That tell you all you need for know, you know. The person who received the most votes in the vice president election is Damian Crawford. But when you tell people these things, people get vexed. The reality is the reality. In a political runoff between Damian Crawford and Lisa Hanna within the People's National Party, Lisa can't win. So just remember that. Write that down. So teach them, tell you that. Yeah? Damian Crawford simply remains the most popular member of the People's National Party to the grassroots people them and to the delegates. I dare say Lisa Hanna remains popular because she's a beautiful woman. And this is somebody who doing business with nobody. Yeah? Me go put it even further. Other females in the party, like Angela Burke, stand a better chance of winning the presidency of the party than Lisa Hanna. Write that down to and say teach them, tell you. Remember who decide who win The president of the party. Not the regular vote out on the street, but the delegates. Lisa couldn't convince them the other day, so she fit to be vice president, much less to be party president. When you think about it. So I teach me come to teach tonight, you know. However, Damian's biggest problem is Damian talk too much. Damian, for some strange reason, feel like him always need to hear him own voice. And because him talk so much, him talk himself in a problem most of the time. I have said it before, that despite the beating and the mauling that the PNP receive, you still have people within the PNP ranks who potentially have service in them to give to Jamaica. Damian Crawford being one, Andre Hartney being somebody else, but Andre too feel like him need for always a ear fee one voice. So they speak and they speak till them chat too much. Crystal Tomlinson are running the same boat. Them like to hear them own voice. You understand? I mean, I think also Andre Harton kind of come across as being overly arrogant as well. So that's something I mean for fix too. I don't, you understand? So we just look on the thing as how the thing go. But the reality is that as things stand right now, Damian Crawford is in pole position. Remember, so me tell you. Not saying him have to win, but he is in pole position. And Damian Crawford would have played his cards at the right time and on the right table. But we could talk a little bit more about PNP. Oh, me never find a picture for Paul Burke. Oh, crap. No, man, me have him, man. Teach them prepared, man. We have a lesson plan and a unit plan, man. What you are going to say? New PNP president won't have support of all party members, say Burke, because they can't have it because here the president either come from the Rise Unite. Uno tell me what the next camp name is. Rise United, what the next one name? Forget where Rise United. Where next one name? The party president will have to come from either the Phillips faction or the Bunting faction. If it come from the Phillips faction, the Bunting faction will go vex. If it come from the Bunting faction, the Phillips faction will go vex. So at the end of the day, the PNP will remain a party that is not united. Because you're going to have two factions in the party. Yeah? Remember that, you know. If Mark Golden become the president, him in a problem because Damian and Philip Palwell and Lisa Anna and all of the people them were back Phillips, him not going to have them support. If Damian Crawford or Lisa Anna or God forbid Philip Paul, become president of the People's National Party, Mark Golding and all of the other Bunting supporter them not going to have them support. So I see the problem there, sir. And at the end of the day, a broken People's National Party, a disunited People's National Party, a People's National Party in tatters is bad news for the country because it means they don't have a sensible or viable opposition in a democratic country. Rise United and one PNP. Yeah, they say I don't even remember them. You answer me, I say big up yourself, family. Paul Burke, who many people would have credited for the PNP's defeat, in the previous general election, that was Portia Simpson's last election, has said, well, him say a number of things a number of times. You understand? Paul Burke, a former GenSec or General Secretary of the People's National Party, is of the view that the new president of the party will not have the support of all members. I don't need Paul Burke to tell me that. Right now, Floyd Morris can't see that. You understand? He has put it at 60% because of division in the PNP. Sharing his views on Thursday on the morning agenda on Power 106, Mr. Burke said the PNP cannot unite with Dr. Phillips at the helm, which is true. Like, it just not gonna happen. But when will the PNP unite with who at the helm and you have two parties in a party? You understand? It's like you have a big land and two different sounds string up. Two parties but at the same sad song them a play. PNP ratings lean back and rock away. Watch out now. However, at the same time, he said a new leader will create further division. Then I don't need Mr. Paul Burke to tell the teacher this. The teacher been said this. I know that Dr. Phillips remaining cannot unite the party because we have so many different agendas. And I know that if you elect a new leader in this period, it's going to further divide the party because it is going to be around a personality and not anything else. Is he throwing shade at a Lisa Anna or a Damian Crawford? I don't know. I couldn't tell you because Paul Burke is an ally of Peter Phillips. As a matter of fact, him say his wife deceive him because his wife did tell him say she go vote for Phillips and then she go vote for Bunty. So I right now Paul Burke owes no problem to you want look. I don't know. You understand? Alright, watch out. Which are we there? My last. Yes. Mr. Burke said he fears that standards in the party are at a point where the leadership can be bought. Is this a suggestion that Manuel Kyle tick like dumpling may influence the outcome of the election? I couldn't tell you. I don't know. Then it means just one youth around here. So. But listen to the statement. Member say no. Member say giskeg that. Yo, he man say giskeg than the PNP. Yo, Jaja. Yeah, I take my things that jokes sometimes. Yo, listen what the former General Secretary of the People's National Party has said. Mr. Burke said he fears that standards in the party are at a point where the leadership can be bought. It is no secret what God can do. It is no secret that the man in the PNP with the money is Peter Bunting. So is Paul Burke insinuating, suggesting, inferring that Bunting and Golden, because Golden kind of stack up to you, because remember I told them did a part of Deer and Bunting and Golden and they sell it for some money where they not have to work again for as long as they live. You know. With them, Kyle with tick like dumpling out on the hunting can buy something. I don't know. It's just a, yeah, listen what I go on. Remember, peace, I'm going to start the stream it, you know, because I PNP with run one part, run a party shop section with you, you know. Watch out. A member of the party or a supporter of the party called me and asked me why was she not getting money to vote this time. And she got money to vote in the presidential election. And this election a bigger election than the presidential election. And she not get no money to vote this time. And so she not vote. I encourage the individual to go out and vote. And she voted. But that was the initial attitude. Today, money can buy the leadership of the PNP. And I am not going to retire from that statement he declared. In the meantime, Mr. Burke said there is... Listen this. Listen, let me take out my glass. Paul Burke is a man who, when Noah did a Billy Ark, him did get his string them for tie up and post them. Paul Burke, him long time before Noah flood him the boat. You understand? Them time them did a Billy People's National Party run on one place. So listen what I go on. Wanna listen this. In the meantime, in between time, Mr. Burke said, this is the man that was the campaign director for the last election in the People's National Party before the one, you know. There is no identifiable member of the PNP to assume presidency. This is not like somebody coming into my department at work, the humanities department. Teach them in there, you know. And them are going to say there's nobody in the department suitable for teach CXC geography, you know. What? Then nobody in here can teach CXC and teach them the boat. Then what you mean? The geography daddy? He man say, well, I'm going to put them up because I don't want to lie upon Paul Burke, you know. Let me see what I'm going. It's not a test glass, it's just a glass to keep a light from blind the teacher. You know, screen, light, all, but they don't know hold on, watch this. In the meantime, Mr. Burke said, there is no identifiable member of the PNP to assume the presidency. Now, this man here is Peter Phillips' brethren, you know. I wonder if Peter tell him so. He said while the leadership issue must be addressed quickly, he is worried that there is no suitable candidate. Responding to Morning Agenda host Sanjay Lewis, Mr. Burke said he cannot think of any name right now that can unite the party in this state it is in. And this state did not happen under Dr. Peter Phillips, he continued. It started with Portia Simpson Miller being elected in 2006 as party president. It continued to the downward trend as it continued when I became general secretary. People, Anna Smaddy from a Jamaica Labour Party or NDM or Rohan, Chung or Ross Asta Black said this, you know, is Paul Burke, former general secretary, husband of Angela Brown Burke. Not even your wife in don't see as party lead. I wonder if Angela cook since week. Paul Burke good as I eat party, you know. I wonder if a juicy beef or tasties or PNP party. PNP on party shop. Yo! Listen this now. Paul Burke speaking. Cause I don't want to lie upon Paul Burke, you know. This is a open play, Lord.
I know that Dr. Phillips remaining cannot unite the party, right? Because we have so many different agendas. And I know that if you elect a new leader in this period, it's going to further divide the party because it's going to be around a personality and not anything else. And I'll tell you why. A member of the party or a supporter of the party called me and asked me, why was she not getting money to vote this time? And she got money to vote in the presidential election. And this election a bigger election than the presidential election. And she now get the money to vote this time. And she now vote. I encourage the individual to go out and vote, and she voted. But that was the initial attitude. Today, money can buy the leadership of the PNP, and I'm not going to resign on that statement.
So what are you're suggesting then is that a leadership change at this point is not the ideal situation?
You might have to have it because, one, Dr. Phillips wants to go sooner rather than later, and he has made that clear to the party. He certainly has made it clear to me, but that by itself will not fix. I cannot think of any name right now that can unite the party in the state it is. And this state did not happen under Dr. Peter Phillips. It started with Portia Simpson Miller being elected in 2006 as party president. It continued the downward trend as it continued when I became general secretary.
Alright, one more PNP thing then me gone. You understand? Because it's not a PNP stream, you know. You understand? I just have to deal with some things because, you understand, the work is the work, Rasta. So, oh, me now no picture with Phillips around here, so. Then teacher. Then his party shop here around too. Right now, Jaja. Alright, make Paul Burke stand there. PNP make some staff redundant following election defeat. There was a next letter. I want to know which Oberman set letter upon the PNP. Because any Oberman set letter upon the PNP is a good Oberman. Yo, I don't know Rasta. The People's National Party has made a number of staff positions at its old Oak Road Secretariat redundant. This is the latest challenge facing the party following the September 3 general election. PNP General Secretary Julian Robinson indicated in letters to the affected workers that the party's revenues are projected to fall significantly following the election loss. Mr. Robinson said the party has to realign its expenses to match the reduced income. Radio Jamaica understands that 20 people are employed to the PNP Secretariat. Sorry guys. However, it is not known how many positions are being made redundant. It is believed the positions cover administration, communications, and organizing. Yeah? So, basically, they must say, because Bunting not really debut again, the light bill can't pay. I don't know, Rasta. Separate and apart from what is going on in the PNP, because in all honesty, it don't really concern me. You understand? I just have to deal with the thing because we have to deal with the thing. Plus, if the PNP remain party shop level, then we're not in no opposition in our country. You feel what I say? That is the long and short of the story. And we got through all of this to say that right now, Jamaica is a one-party system. And that's a serious business and problem. And the PNP has been fighting amongst itself for the past decade, and they seem intent to continue the fight for the next decade. Mrs. Maddy said the PNP need a 10-year vacation. Then say a man take you uncle over. Yo, aye sir. Peeps, you don't big up on yourself, yeah. If you're there for the first time, manners and respect. You understand what I say? And me know some people from within the People's National Party I watch. You understand? Likewise, the Jamaica Labour Party. See? You know some me know. You understand? You sort out on yourself, family. I want to depend. You know say a one party in a place. Right now, Rohan Chung stronger than the People's National Party. Right now, Rohan Chung a lead the PNP in a strength. Right now, the party them in our country, Jamaica Labour Party, Rohan Chung, Asta Black, some more people than the People's National Party. Right now, the party them in our country are Jamaica Labour Party, Rohan, Chung, Chugit, Igloo, Sons, and the People's National Party. Right now, the party them in our country are JLP, Birthday Party, Bachelor Party, Rohan, Chung, and the PNP. Joke thing, Rasta. The joke business. Bombard after 10 minutes start class it. Introductory activity that. Tell us my lesson and I'm on tonight. You understand? Right now, people them by PNP run there blow fifi and a confetti and all sort of business around there. So clown and all the things. They're not serious. They don't serious, Rasta. Right now, Sons are a bigger party than the PNP. You understand? Igloo and them party, they are a bigger party than the PNP. Nobody can tell me nothing. Right now, my son's birthday party, when he reach, one I go bigger than the PNP. You can't tell me nothing. You understand? Right now, bold party was a bigger party than the PNP party. Alright, we're done with the foolishness. But we get past some serious thing I know still. Because serious things still go on in our country, you know, separate and apart from Rohan, Chung and the PNP and them places. You understand what I say? Hey man say horse party bigger than the PNP. Yo, Jaja, I don't know star. Look here, we can't joke out this thing, you know, but I want to tell and say a serious thing this, you know. And it have implications for the country, you know. So, they want them to stop joke out the thing. The PNP need to get themselves together. You understand what I say? Because I want party about right now. You understand? And you know the worst thing about it? When PJ used to whip Siaga, there was never a time that the Jamaica Labour Party was as disunited, Zine, as the People's National Party is at this point in time. All when PJ win 50 seats, land slippage, avalanche, all sort of things. There was never a time in my memory growing up where the Jamaica Labour Party was in as bad a state as the state that the People's National Party is in at this point in time. Never. And the JLP was in some very bad states. In a them time there. Zine, when you realize every time election are go on, the immediate past president of the party show themselves on one political platform and say two things to the party. Say Bruce Golding was about the place I walk up and down in some constituency I give Andrew some strength. Zine, PJ was always out there when Portia run. Zine, Eddie was out there when him couldn't out there when Bruce a deal with the thing and when Andrew a deal with the thing before film time did circle. Did you see Portia, Lucretia, Simpson, Miller picture, much less we see her about the place? That tells you all you need to know. You understand? That tell you all you need to know. Fix up on yourself. Pass on serious things I know, peace. I can move on, because things are going on here, so. See? There has been a lot of public discourse surrounding whether or not the detention for extended periods of time of men in states of emergencies without charges being laid against them is constitutional. The matter was in front of the courts for a while, being championed by Isaac Buchanan and John Clark, I think the other attorney's name is, Zane, and the court has ruled. The Supreme Court says the detention of 5 men on the SOE was unlawful. The detention of the 5 men who had been jailed under the state of public emergency that were enforced in 6 parishes prior to August 17, when the measures were lifted, was today declared unlawful by the Supreme Court Judge Justice Bertram Morrison. The men, Nicholas Heath, Courtney Hall, Gavin Noble, Courtney Thompson, Everton Douglas, who were all released from custody with the ending of the SOEs in August ahead of the September 3 general election, had been held under the measure. Some for close to 2 years. They had challenged the state on the legality of their detention. The matter was heard by Justice Morrison over several days in July, and a draft judgment reflecting the judge's decision was issued earlier today. A final order is to be made which will indicate whether the cost sought by the men in the matter will be granted. Now, that is all the information that I have. I cannot speak anymore as it relates to the details given in a written judgment. I await that. I am not even certain if this judgment covers all persons detained in SOEs or it is specifically speaking to these 5 men. I don't know. See? So until I am more comfortable with the ruling, probably on Sunday night I'll be able to shed some more light on the ruling and to give you my perspective per se. I have often said that these detention in the SOEs, some of them are very important. As you can, if you turn back your memory to a story that I shared the other day where a man was shot and killed and the police would have intercepted the shooters, and 2 of them were just released from this SOE for murders and guns and all sort of things. One of them, the police get 4 guns from him in a 18 months, seeing all sort of crap. So some of these men are justifiably held. While some men, you can't have people indefinitely and you don't charge them. You can't see through that. You understand what I say? So that part of the SOE has to be revisited. The law surrounding that has to be revisited and altered. You understand what I say? So at the end of the day, this is an important ruling by the courts. I have no idea if the government will seek to appeal said ruling. We'll see how that goes. So early days, but I suppose that the lawyers will be in jubilant mode and very celebratory at this point in time, Zane. So that is that. As I said, I don't know enough about the judgment at this point in time to give you a fulsome analysis in a fair and frank way. So when I familiarize myself with the ruling, we'll see how it go. Zane. So yeah. Also, we know that the Manchester Municipal Corporation fraud trial would have ended with charges being, well, people being convicted. Some man fit look a bit of time and something. However, one of the outcomes is that prosecutors had expressed their intent to have the assets of the convicts forfeited. That proceedings should have commenced earlier in the week, but apparently it was postponed. So forfeiture hearing for 5 Manchester fraud convicts postponed. The forfeiture hearing for Sanjay Elliott and his 4 co-accused who were sentenced on the 27th of July in the Manchester Municipal fraud trial has been postponed to the 1st of October. Elliott's wife, Tasha Gay Goldberg Elliott, who got a non-custodial sentence, appeared before the presiding judge. The Financial Investigations Division, FID, is seeking to forfeit assets of the convicts based on the Proceeds of Crimes Act, which defines a criminal lifestyle following what is considered to be the largest fraud case of a municipal authority in Jamaica. Sanjay Elliott, who is now serving 5 years imprisonment, was described as a ringmaster in the fraud case. His co-accused, former secretary manager and acting CEO of the municipal corporation, David Harris, is serving 16 months in prison at hard labor. Former temporary works overseer Kendall Roberts is serving 18 months at hard labor. Carpenter and gardener Dwayne Sibley's is serving 12 months imprisonment at hard labor on the count of conspiracy to defraud, and Tasha Gay Goldburn Elliott has been fined $3 million. All 5 were initially convicted on the 15th of May. So the closely watched 11-month fraud trial has triggered widespread debate about the confines of the law in dealing with corruption. Millions of dollars, 5 years. Man thief 2 pada aki. 1 year, 2 year. Then I don't understand. Listen this now, peeps. Listen me. Murders down 4% so far this year. A 50% spike in murders in St. Ann and an almost similar increase in the Kingston Western Police Division has pushed Jamaica's murder total since the start of this year to 891. I am sure it probably reached 900 since then because this was earlier in the week and I can count off the top of my head about 4 or 5 murders committed since. However, this number is still a shade below the 932 reported for the same period last year. Official year-to-date crime figures from the Jamaica Constabulary Force show murders down by 4.4% up to the 12th of September when compared to the corresponding period last year. In St. Ann, the police have recorded 48 murders so far this year, up from 32 last year. The Kingston Western Police Division has recorded 69 murders this year compared to 48 last year, for a 44% jump. The other warring police divisions are Kingston Central, where murders are up 35%, and St. Mary, where the 22 murders reported so far this year, although relatively low, represents a 40% increase over last year. On the other side, policing measures in Carindon, including a state of emergency that was recently lifted, have led to 37% reduction in murders, with 64 recorded so far this year, down from 102 over the same period last year. The prolonged plague St. Andrew South Police Division, which covers more than 15 violence-prone communities, including Seaview Gardens, Olympic Gardens, Painland, and sections of Maxfield Avenue, continues to lead the island with a number of murders, 94, but that still represents a 13% reduction compared to last year. Other major crimes are also down, with 860 shooting incidents reported to the police up to last Sunday, a 4% drop when compared to last year. The police have also recorded a 12% decline in the number of rape cases and an 11% decline in the number of robberies reported. I will not dispute the figures, the statistics. Being somebody who is a trained social scientist, I suppose, I understand stats, yeah? I would have done statistical geography in my time of study. See? However, sometimes, despite the stats, the reality of the situation can be so real. Reality and real. Wow. Never mind. Stats me say my name say English. That the numbers don't mean much to you. You understand what I say? So despite the fact say the numbers are suggested there's a decrease, but based on the amount of articles you read about murders being committed, the amount of reports on the news that you see or hear about murders being committed, the stats don't mean much to you. Unstoppable, what you do with broski? Big up yourself, you know, manners and respect every time. See it? So the stats don't mean much to you because when you look at the reality, you see how many murders are occurring, the stats become totally irrelevant. You feel what I say? Jaja. So I could deal with some other things in our dance. 2 men sentenced for 2008 murder of cop. 2 men have been sent to prison for the 2008 killing of police constable Andre Chung. Ras Amin Brown and Daniel Powell were sentenced on Tuesday to 8 years and 5 months imprisonment at hard labor for illegal possession of firearm. 15 years at hard labor for making use of a firearm to commit a felony. 10 years and 5 months for a robbery with aggravation, and 13 years and 5 months for a manslaughter. The sentences are to run concurrently. Then that don't make no sense. That don't make no sense, you know. That don't make no sense. See? And again, it brings light, or it shines light on the judicial system in the country. You understand? When you listen to the charges, let me read the charges again. 8 years and 5 months in prison at hard labor for illegal possession of firearm. 15 years at hard labor for making use of a firearm to commit a felony. 10 years and 5 months for a robbery with aggravation. And 13 years and 5 months for a manslaughter. So at the end of the day, they will simply serve the longest sentence, which is 15 years at hard labor, because all the sentences are running concurrently instead of consecutively. Powell and Brown were found guilty by a 7-member jury on January 20. Constable Chung, who was 22 years old, was killed on his way home. He boarded a car which both men rented and were operating as a taxi. After the men realized that Mr. Chung was a cop, they robbed him of his service pistol and a computer tablet. The policeman was then beaten and shot to death. His body was discovered the following morning in Tavistock Terrace in St. Andrew. First, I'm hearing the name of that place. Jaja. I never have a picture of that gun here. How am I do with it? Can't find it. Oh, I don't think it will fill up the screen because I never, that's something here. So, who can buy gun and make gun? Who can rent gun and make gun? Now look here. Now look there. These are the lengths that your Jamaican and my Jamaican brothers and sisters, oh, Jack Soliday, big up yourself, James Van, appreciate that, are going in order to kill them Jamaican brothers and sisters. Eh? Homemade firearms seized. Listen to this. 18-year-old arrested during curfew hours. So an 18-year-old man was apprehended and a homemade firearm seized along Spanish Town Road in Kingston during an early morning police operation on Friday. Reports had at about 2:50 a.m. A police team was patrolling a section of Spanish Town Road close to the entrance of the Coronation Market when the cops saw a man standing on the side of the road with his back turned to the approaching officers. The man was apprehended and questioned by the police as to why he was on the road during curfew hours. He was later searched and a homemade firearm found in his waist, according to the police. The man was taken into custody and is to be charged, the police said. Three guns seized in Trelawney. Big up to the police then. You understand? The Warsaw police in Trelawney has seized 4 homemade firearms in less than 48 hours. You hear that? So the man them start met them one gun rasta. I mean, I know nothing new, but it look like the numbers are increasing. The seizure has seen one arrest and investigators continue to explore further leads. So according to reports, a suspect was arrested when he turned up at the police station to make a report against another man. However, while police officers were taking his report, the other man turned up and handed over a homemade handgun to them, saying that the suspect had earlier used it to shoot at him while the two were having a dispute. It is alleged that the homemade weapon malfunctioned and injured the suspect, causing him to drop the weapon and flee. It was allegedly retrieved by the other man and handed over to the police. Warsaw detectives are also investigating the seizure of 3 homemade firearms in Flanker Lane. I'm telling them about the lane, them, you know. In the community. In that incident, a homemade shotgun, 2 homemade handguns, and 2 9mm rounds of ammunition were found during the search of a premises. 1 man was arrested in connection with the seizure and remains in police custody. Car thieves hospitalized after crashing stolen vehicle. 2 men who allegedly stole a car in Runaway Bay, St. Anne Friday morning have been hospitalized after the vehicle crashed while they were trying to escape from the police. About 6 o'clock, the police were informed that the vehicle was stolen. They later spotted the car and there was a chase. The vehicle hit an embankment and overturned. It was reported that there was a collision with another car. The occupants of both vehicles were taken to hospital. You could hear say I itch them into ride. Like remember them thief one bus down at one place and the bus run over one gully and them dead and me do one video and the people in family come and that video come cuss me. Say I itch them itch a ride. Yo. Them people, them innocent. Remember one time one nurse buy one car must be Friday and his son, one of them smelly thiefy. And he run under one truck out for Spanish Town Road. Me say I borrow him car. Aye, sir. Trelawney man on shooting and firearm charges. See? So this are the same incident, but we have some more detail. Remember the incident I tell you about where the man run gas station and the man gas station to the gun and run left? A man is to face the court to answer charges of shooting with intent and illegal possession of firearm after he shot at a farmer during an argument in Trelawney. He has been identified as 26-year-old Odin Gale of Warsaw in the parish. So according to the police, about 7:40 a.m., the complainant was on his way to his farm when he had an argument with Gale. During the incident, Gale allegedly pulled a gun and fired in the direction of the complainant. However, he was not injured. The police said the firearm fell from Gale and was retrieved by the complainant, who then escaped. The police were summoned and the firearm was subsequently handed over to them. See? So the investigation was, well, you see a 2 different story basically. But basically they lock him up. You understand? Yes, Rasta. Normally, when people thief goat, them put them in a car trunk or in a van. Now them boss a coaster ride them get. Mayday! 8 kidnapped goats rescued from coaster bus. Down a town. 2 suspected goat thieves are in custody after they were nabbed with 8 of the animals in a passenger bus at Catholic Lane in Yala St. Thomas. Lawmen said they received information about a theft in the Spring Gardens area, including a blue and white coaster bus. The vehicle was intercepted at 1:40 p.m., during which the animals were discovered and 2 men, both public transport operators, were held. A man then said about on the roads, them a car to goat. Another man who was in the bus reportedly ran, and this being sought. So resident of Spring Garden, Michael Thompson, said he was sitting at his gate when the bus passed. Me did I wonder to myself, what that bus doing up here with them 3 ugly man here. Yo. Me did I wonder. Me just wonder how we do them go with hate and anger. We just but as we relax get locked. Me did I wonder to myself what that bus doing up here with them 3 ugly man here. But me never really paid any mind. It passed gone until me see one of my little nephew come and I say, them a thief and brethren goat them. Thompson said that when the men realized that they had been spotted, they drove off. So we called the police and them go on the trail and contact another unit. And I saw we get a phone call that them catch the goat thief them. And we should come to Yallas, he said. One of the persons viewing the confiscated bus outside the Yallas police station was Vanessa Grant, who said that 3 of the goats belonged to her father. She said that she heard the men were driving around snatching goats from various communities. Have the goat them on the AC. Not even when me traveling with them, me not get the AC, she Yo, Empress, me have a goat them on the AC. Not even when me traveling with them, me get AC. This is not right. Them need to put a stop to these things. We can't afford for these things to go on right now because everybody have to be trying to gain off what them have in at them home. We don't have time for lose something right now. She had it a long time my father have him goat them. I come with. And it would look so bad if him lose them now. But God good. We catch up on them. Why? No, do. The goat them cool. Them a cool and the goat them for curry them. Manchester man slapped with 4 charges. Oh, I don't know the goat bus. The man them have one big old bus to go carry people. The man them go and thief people goat. Eh? I'm glad the people ain't get back them goat them. Eh? 38-year-old Toby Clark has been slapped with 4 charges following an incident that occurred in his community of Chudley, District, Manchester on Friday the 12th of June. According to the police, about 9:20 p.m., Clark went to the complainant's home armed with a handgun and demanded money from him. The accused also reportedly fired shots. However, the complainant managed to escape. A report was made to the police and Clark was later arrested. So he has been charged with shooting with intent, illegal possession of firearm and ammunition, assault with intent to rob, and conspiracy. His court date is being finalized. Be a good man, them a pro with it. Yo. Right now, you look on a man too hard and shoot you. So you better just go and look straight. And if you see him straight in front of you, look cross. If you see anybody cross you, look up, so. If you see one plane up there, then you look down. Alright, you just lock your eye. You understand? Police arrest suspected elderly con artist. Eh? The Little London police in Westmoreland have put a stop to the activities of a 70-year-old suspected con artist, whose recent exploits have seen him fleecing unsuspecting people of more than $1 million. The man, Winston Crossdale, was charged with obtaining money by a false pretense. The charges were laid while Crossdale was in police custody on similar charges. In the latest allegations, a woman and her nephew reported that they paid Crossdale a combined $1 million for 2 motor vehicles in late July of this year. The money was paid over when Crossdale promised he could secure the motor vehicles at a reduced cost because of special contacts. The woman became suspicious when Crossdale began to give changing reasons for the delay in delivering the promised motor vehicles. She eventually discovered that he was in police custody and made a report. Crossdale will appear in the Westmoreland Parish Court on Thursday the 6th of October to to answer to 2 counts of obtaining money by a false pretense in relation to this latest case. He will also answer to other fraud-related charges in at least 1 other case. Aye, sir. Aye, sir. Girl, me serious. Me I go get you tonight. I forget your body even buy a gun point. Big song, but you see that song there? St. Elizabeth man accused of stabbing woman who rejected his advances. This is about the second or third such story I've read in recent times. 30-year-old Denroy Whiteley of Dalton District in St. Elizabeth was arrested and charged for wounding with intent following an incident in his community on the 10th of September. Reports from the Malvern police are that about 6:20 a.m., the complainant and Whiteley were at home when Whiteley reportedly made sexual advances towards her. She allegedly refused and was later awakened by a stab wound to the upper body. So the man not get fist. Pay in the row, pay in the place. Big up yourself, brother. I don't see him, yeah, I don't see him. Thanks for the contribution over on PayPal. So peeps, not making light of the situation, but apparently the man decides some stabbing of a go on here. The workless boy. An investigation was launched and Whiteley was charged. His court date is being finalized. Blessings give and take. Name the body. Man dead. Woman injured following shooting in downtown Kingston. A man is dead and a woman is being treated for her bullet wounds following a shooting in downtown Kingston on Tuesday afternoon. The deceased has been identified as 26-year-old Dwayne Dunbar of a Maiden Lane address in Kingston. The incident occurred about 5 p.m. Mr. Dunbar was standing at the intersection of Barry Street and Rum Lane when he was shot. The gunman opened fire at the police before escaping. Bikers engage in shootout amid peak hour traffic on Waterloo Road. So you have it. I so much picture me having on this tonight and I can't find them. I don't know them. The police would have been involved in the shootout during peak hour traffic. It is reported that the shooting involved armed motorcyclists. Well, them did a shoot after the one that I should say. The man a shoot and load him gun and then a fire at each other, said one alleged eyewitness in reference to one of the gunmen. I was going down Halfway Tree Road and I had to go across the Waterloo Road, he added. So a police service vehicle gave chase and the gunman rode off in the direction of Halfway Tree. And it is believed that about 7 shots were fired. Police probing murder of JUTC bus driver. So investigators are probing the murder of Jamaican Urban Transit Company bus driver. The deceased, 44-year-old Marlon Graham, was shot along Spanish Town Road on Tuesday morning. The incident occurred about 7:30. Say me and tell you about the murder figures. Jamaican men arrested in Turks and Caicos Island. Vessel seized. See vessel there? 2 Jamaicans were among 3 Caribbean nationals held at sea by the Royal Turks and Caicos Islands Police Force Marine Division on Tuesday. The police reported that the Jamaican men along with an Asian were intercepted in a blue and red vessel. It is understood that the police were alerted around 3:10 a.m. that a radar station was tracking a target 2 miles south of the south side marina, so the men were intercepted and taken into custody for a further investigation. I have often tried to figure out, you see, when I come across stories where parents are involved in violent acts accompanied by their children, you know, so I kind of start observe a little thing. See, any store I go where they must spray sanitizer upon my hand, I not go in there. So if I can't use my own sanitizer, I not go in them store. I kind of realize that recently, anytime I go to them place and I spray things for my hand them start feel like coconut brush. You understand? Dry out and rough. I know my hand. I know the hand that girl they like. You see? And I have heard of stories where some of the concoction them what them mix up and a spray upon people and has led to injuries. So it's simple. So anyway, me I go. If me can't use my own sanitizer, me not go in there. Simple maths. It no matter what in there when me want. Cause right now, I know my hand them here. You understand? More time girls them hold me and them a say about teach. Or your hand them soft and nice. Then me can't go hold a girl hand right now. Alright. So me I say, normally parents, it is their responsibility to lead them children in the right way. So if them realize that them are going to do foolishness, them bust their ass. You understand? If them not listen to wisdom. See it? St. James man charged for a stabbing. Mother being sought. A St. James man has been charged and this mother is being sought by the police in relation to a stabbing attack in Lilliput. 19-year-old. No. Me can't hold a girl them skirt on sports TV. Then it is a problem that, you understand? No. That can't work out. You see it? Yeah. 19-year-old Queen Lewis, otherwise called Ice. Oh, I see. Someone cool like ice. 19-year-old Queen Lewis, otherwise called Ice, was charged on Sunday. A court date is yet to be set. The police report that Lewis and his mother allegedly pounced upon the complainant at his workplace about 10:30 a.m. on Thursday the 10th of September. They then allegedly used knives to stab him several times all over his body. The police say he managed to escape and residents assisted him to the hospital. Lewis was arrested when he turned up at the Barretown police station later that same day to make a report. So I'm going to report and stop up the man. He was subsequently charged. Detectives are appealing to his mother to turn herself in immediately. Anyone knowing her whereabouts is being asked to contact the Barretown police at 876-953-7899. Run Stewart, pick up yourself. The police 119 emergency number or the nearest police station. Parents these days, eh? Peeps, remember I share one story the other day when I tell you about the St. James quick response team would have intercepted a Nissan note that would have fled the scene of a shooting in Catherine Hall. And them find 2 men were just released from state of emergency for murder charge and gun charge and all sort of something after a shootout. Say, different story this, you know. St. James cops nab accused murderer in 20 minutes. The police are reporting the arrest of a murder suspect in St. James within 20 minutes of the crime being committed. Sorry, guys. The victim was 39-year-old Ryan Stevenson, a vendor of retirement district in St. James. The police said that about 4:10 p.m., Stevenson and the accused were involved in an altercation, during which a knife was used to inflict stab wounds to Stevenson. He was transported to the hospital by residents and was later pronounced dead. The police were called and contact was made with the quick response team that was in the area. This was the same quick response unit that intercepted the killers them last time, you know. He is expected to be interviewed in the presence of his attorney before formal charges are laid. Father Juicy J, big up yourself in a broski. You know, we appreciate the support first and foremost. We appreciate the financial contribution as well. Give thanks, family. You understand? Blessings every time. Big up to the St. James Quick Response Unit. Una go on with a bag of things. You understand? I did this video this morning before I go to school. Talk about go to school, you see? I have been in meetings every day for the week. Every day. But the work is the work. I shared the story this morning before I go work. Because I really work my gusto. You understand? Birthday sorrow as two sisters are killed in Mona Commons. I did the video. I not even check on the video. So the police are searching for 4 men who attacked and shot 2 sisters in Mona Commons, Papine, St. Andrew on Thursday afternoon. So the deceased, 31-year-old, I'm seeing in some places she being referred to as Shauna K. Hunter, and in some cases as Tiffany Hunter. And in some cases Shauna K. Hunter, but also called Tiffany. So I'm not sure. 31-year-old Tiffany Hunter, who is the Empress with the headband, and 23-year-old Renee Martel, otherwise called Tassie. And it was the Empress in the headband's birthday. So she was murdered on her birthday. It is reported that sometime after 3 p.m. and the reports have been inconsistent, in all honesty. The reports are that it is reported that at about 3 p.m. Tiffany had just returned from a Western Union outlet when 4 men traveling on 2 motorcycles rode into the community. Apparently there was a little gathering of people. Reports are that 2 of the men jumped from the bikes and brandished firearms, then opened fire. Hunter ran into a lane nearby while Martel ran into her house. So both women were chased by the gunmen who continued firing at them. They were both shot and injured. So the shooters then made good their escape. Both sisters were rushed to the University Hospital of the West Indies, which is close by, based on where the shooting occurred, but were later pronounced dead. So no official motive has yet been established for the attack, but sources are suggesting that it could have been a contract killing. Because if they were in among other people and they were the only 2 people who were chased and shot, it suggests that they went specifically for them. So, well, I don't know. Now, peeps, Georgia, I also did this video last night on Mass Beachy Stout, where one of his contract killers, would have confessed to his part in the murder of Mrs. Mcdonald. I need some water. And the man broke down in tears after he would have subcontracted the hit to the youth, who I'm assuming is Asha Barnes, because Asha Barnes is the other person who would have been arrested along with Beachy Stout and Denverlin Minot. This get even more sad each time you come across something related to the story. Yeah? I'm sure many of you would have watched the video, but for the benefit of those who did not, let me just quickly run through some information because there was some development today as well. So, you know what thing go. A contract killer. Oh, let me find him. See him here. I would not keep no secret for no guy. A contract killer has detailed how he Lord. Why that sounds so wrong. Tony Mcdonald, wife of popular Portland businessman Everton Beachy Stout Mcdonald, to a secluded roadway in the parish and watched as the man he subcontracted stabbed her repeatedly. The details were outlined in the Home Circuit Court on Monday after Denver. And hold on, before we go any further, I must take time out, you see, to give a shout out to the police who were involved in this case for a number of reasons. One, there were cries very loud that the police were doing nothing about the situation and that Beachy Stout would have been involved in other things before, and because him money enough and all sort of things. While the police were patient, they did their investigation, they got their evidence together, they got confessions and stuff before actually moving. Yeah, all three men were, well, not all three, Beachy, Stout and Barnes were detained in simultaneous raids at different locations. So, you see, many times we berate the police, but when the police them do good things with it say. You understand? They were patient, them never go run and mess up the case and compromise the investigation. Them never succumb to the pressures of the public. They took their time, detectives from the Major Investigations Division, and they would have dealt with the investigation in apparently a professional manner. And yeah, we know say I never the Portland police them lead it because, but fine. Zane, so police them were involved in the thing, big up themselves. You understand? Because if this case did fall through and no conviction was had, you then so the police them buy out the police them and the money and the police force corrupt and thing. So they need to give the police them some credit. You understand what I say? It is all well and good for berate the police them when the thing not do right. But when the thing do right, if you say, yo, the thing do right, and the thing was done right. You understand? You realize how fast it's moved after the arrest? Boom, boom. Apparently, him got a court from Monday and plead guilty, you know. You understand what I say? And thing. So, big up to the police them from the Major Investigations Division, man. You understand? With the good thing them. The details were outlined in the Home Circuit Court on Monday after Denverlin Minot, who is on screen, 56 years old, pleaded guilty to murder for his role in the July 20th killing. Minot was sentenced to 19 years, and just like many people, I have an issue with the time, and I know full well that he would have received a reduction in his sentence because he pleaded guilty and would have probably turned crown witness as well because him give full confession statement and them something there. No, I have always said that for any judicial system to operate, plea bargaining is an important part of that system. See? However, I have often stated that not every Tom, Dick and Harry should be allowed to benefit from this. There should be some instances where there is no reduction in sentence because a man plead guilty. I understand, say it speed up the process, it free up cases, it reduce backlog, it reduces the burden on taxpayers for the judicial part of the thing. But the reality is that there are some crimes that a guilty verdict should not negate the sentencing or the harshness of the sentencing. Yeah? Now, so he was sentenced to 19 years in prison on Thursday, September 16th, and ordered to serve 10 years before he becomes eligible for parole. 10 years. Justice Vivian Harris, who imposed a sentence, called the killing horrifying. That's one way. That's one word. I can think of many others. Minot's confession were contained in a caution statement he made to detectives assigned to the Major Investigation Division 2 weeks after the partially burnt body of the 32-year-old businesswoman was found with its throat slashed inside her car in Sherwood Forest, Portland. He made the confession in the presence of 2 justices of the peace. Now, 65-year-old Everton Mcdonald, also known as Beachy Stout or Mr. Mac, and another man, Asher Barnes, have been arrested and charged with the gruesome slaying. Minot, in his caution statement, which was cited in court by prosecutors, claimed he was contracted by Everton Beachy Stout Mcdonald to kill Tonya. He said that the arrangement was that payment of $3 million would be made for the killing of Mrs. McDonald, one prosecutor disclosed, citing the caution statement. So apparently, you know, I mean, if you keep a closer eye on my hand them, because I tell you seriously, I say some things are going on my hand them when I'm supposed to go on. And it's this spraying a thing on my hand. So I'm going to stop that place. Because I don't know that. Miss Ina Mead, good night, my friend. Hope you're okay. Thanks so much for your continued support. Also, the contribution. I am most appreciative. This man was willing to pay $3 million for the murder. A somebody want him wife dead. That's him willing to pay $3 million. He said that the arrangement was that payment of $3 million would be made for the killing of Mrs. McDonald. One prosecutor disclosed, citing the caution statement. Minot, a fisherman who also resides in Portland, claimed too that Beachy Stout gave him clear instructions on how his wife should be killed. He did not want Mrs. McDonald to be shot, but that she should be stabbed up and her body burnt, he told detectives, according to prosecutors. Minot admitted that he gave the work to another man known to him only as the Youth. He revealed that on the night of July 20, Tonya McDonald picked him up in her Toyota Axio motor car, and he indicated to her that he was going to pick up another man in Port Antonio. The trio traveled towards Sherwood Forest, he said, when the Youth asked Tonya to stop and turn around the car as they approached a 3-way intersection. Minot recalled stepping out of the vehicle after Tonya complied with the request, causing her to become fearful. "Where you are go? I'm afraid. You know, it's around here dark," he quoted her as saying. Poor child not even know say I killed him, I kill her. According to Minot, the other man also got out of the car before quickly getting back in. He said the Youth grabbed her around the headrest of the driver's seat and they were wrestling. He said he then saw when the Youth stabbed her and he saw blood coming from her 2 sides and her back and her neck, a prosecutor revealed in court. But the night, well, I don't know. Minot said the man had a bottle containing some unknown liquid. He said soon after the car caught fire and he left the scene to call Everton Mcdonald and told him what had happened. The Sansan police reported that while the scene was being processed, Everton Mcdonald arrived and identified his wife's body as well as her motor car. Minot, apparently racked with guilt, broke down in tears as he recounted to detectives his role in Tonya McDonald's death. Miss Mac trusts me too much. She believe in me. And me make she go up there, he said, through tears in his caution statement. So Beachy, Stout and the next guy got court today again. But before we reach that, diabolical. Contract killer watch as Beachy Stout's wife was stabbed. So let me give you some more info on Denvalin, you know. Denvalin Minot, I could go back to him somewhere around that part, around that place. I think I am this here. Has been married for more than 2 decades and is known to residents in his East Portland community of Norwich as a family man who is devoted to his 4 children. Before handing down her sentence, High Court Judge Vivian Harris scolded the family man turned contract killer. You are a married man with a stable family, and according to the community, a good father. I don't know what could have come over you to cause you to act in this diabolical way. No, you are going to be separated from them for a long time, said Harris. You were seduced by a payment of a large sum of money and participated in the hope of getting a big payday, she said. Murder case involving Portland businessman and co-accused to skip preliminary hearing. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecution has signaled that the murder case involving popular Portland businessman Everton Beachy Stout Mcdonald will bypass a preliminary hearing in the parish court and will be sent directly to the Home Circuit Court. This announcement came early on Thursday when McDonald and his co-accused, Barnes, made their second appearance before the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court. The DPP has indicated that the case will be taken directly to the Circuit Court, one prosecutor disclosed. The transfer could take place in 2 to 3 weeks, prosecutors said. Under the Committal Proceedings Act, murder and other cases triable in the circuit courts should first go before a parish court judge to decide if there is sufficient evidence to establish prima facie case. Prima facie case. That sounds more right. I said this many times now, but I tell them, I get old. However, as is expected to happen in McDonald's case, the DPP has the authority to enter and nullly prosecute, discontinuing a case before the parish court and placing it before the circuit court on a voluntary bill of indictment. The impending transfer shuttered a planned bail application by attorneys for McDonald and Barnes. The application is now set for the 8th of October. Defense attorney Burke Samuels, who is representing McDonald, said his client was disappointed by the postponement of his bail application. The popular businessman has been in custody for 46 days, Samuels noted. This accused has a constitutional right to have his bail application heard at the earliest time the attorney complained. Prosecutors and investigators indicated that they were strongly opposed to bail. McDonald and Barnes were taken into custody on the 5th of August during a series of coordinated operations by the Major Investigations Division. The businessman is accusing of orchestrating the murder of his wife, Tonya McDonald. And thing, you don't know the rest of it. Yes, Rasta. Peeps, many times, I not even have nothing to say about this, you know. I'll just give you updates when updates become available. I have often said that the Yeng culture in Jamaica needs to be monitored closely and regularized, and these bikes should be required to go through the same process of licensing and insurance before they are able to operate on the roads. Many crimes have been committed with the use of these bikes. On the flip side of that, I understand that many Jamaicans make a living by utilizing these bikes to do various things. The delivery men, the bearers, the mailmen, many people. However, the reality is that with these bikes, you don't know who is who most of the time. Yeah? And they continue to figure prominently in murders and shootings and robberies across the country. Many people have called for, in some instances, a temporary ban, in some instances, greater scrutiny to be placed on how they operate, and some people have been called for a downright ban of these bikes. As I explained before, I understand that an outright ban on these bikes will be very bad for honest, hardworking, law-abiding men in this country who are trying to make a living for themselves and their family. As Anna and J.A. say, him not single them out, and I don't disagree with you none at all, brother. As me don't tell us, not even the mailman from me A1 bike, no matter what me I do, as long as me out on the road, me I stop, and then me not take me off for you. Then, and if you go down, son, and come back, me not take me off a guide them. You understand? Now, there is a petition to ban Yeng motorbikes in Jamaica. And the problem with the Yeng, look behind me. This is a police yard. I think in somewhere in Westmoreland. You know, in Westmoreland, bikes are so prevalent. They all use them as taxi. I don't know who can carry on one bike say a taxi. Eh? They are loud and obnoxious, and you just don't know who they're upon them. That is the thing. A petition has been launched calling for the government to ban the popular Yeng motorcycles in Jamaica. I saw you did that in Marcia Griffith's video, and I want to tell you some quite a distance from the road and brother, but we don't trust Yeng, man. They ain't no Yeng to a thing. You understand? From we hear them, we alert. Among other things, the petitioner argued that law-abiding citizens fear the motorcycles not due to the noise levels from the units, but because of the emerging use of them in criminal activities, including robberies and drive-by shootings. The petition was created on Wednesday of this week on the Jamaica House Petition portal, which allows persons to bring issues of concern to the attention of the Office of the Prime Minister. Law-abiding citizens of this great country are in constant fear whenever they hear the antagonizing noise of these nuisance Yeng motorbikes approaching. They are not fearful of the noise of these bikes, but the mere fact that these motorcycles are used also for criminal activities, robberies, drive-bys, shootings, etc., the petition said. Continuing, the petitioner wrote, coupled with that, the users of these motorcycles continue to cost taxpayers dearly due to the large volume of accidents associated with the vehicles and the resulting high hospital bills to treat victims. It's a very valid point. We are today urging the government to listen to the call of the citizens and ban these motorcycles to save lives, properties, and save money, the petition concluded. Up to Thursday morning, the petition had received 227 signatures, or 1.5% of the 15,000 signatures that are required. Me just eat it, because me sign it. The petition is expected to close on October 26, 2020. Persons wishing to sign it may do so. I'll put a link in here, so. And as me I say, I don't know how they're going to deal with it, because I know some people earn a living. Something can be done to figure out who them people there is and them register them thing and you can track the bike them. Because the thing is, as the police and take a one and go buy a next one up the road, you know. You understand? So I am not necessarily saying ban them all, but they need to be regulated properly. That is the problem. You understand what I say? So under the rules, a petition has to obtain 15,000 signatures within 40 days for it to be reviewed by the office of the Prime Minister. You see me? Carl Welch, I don't think it will stop crime, but it will reduce the crimes that are being committed by men on these bikes. You understand? No one thing can stop crime, you know, but each thing can serve to reduce the occurrences of these criminal activities. You understand what I say? The Jamaica House Petition portal gives citizens the opportunity to petition the government on matters of national importance. The OPM will consider petitions submitted by local groups and members of the public as part of its national consultation approach. If a petition has complied with the agreed standards, OPM will issue an official response. So motorcycles are featured in many robberies and shootings within Jamaica, including the corporate area over recent years, with some quite noticeable incidents this year. On Independence Day, the 6th of August, for example, gunmen traveling on motorcycles struck in West Kingston, killing a 38-year-old man and injuring 2 others. In July of this year, criminals traveling on motorcycles created havoc in sections of the corporate area, especially robbing mainly women after they had completed financial transactions. In one case that was captured on CCTV, a woman fell victim at home in St. Andrew reportedly on Thursday the 23rd of July. A 25-second video of the incident showed a man walking into a driveway and snatching a woman's handbag. He then made his escape on a waiting motorcycle. A few weeks earlier, a similar robbery that occurred in Lane Plaza, Ligani, was also caught on CCTV. In that incident, a woman walking in the car park of the plaza was forcefully robbed of her handbag by a man who also escaped on a waiting motorbike. Another robbery, which was partially captured on video, was a group of men on motorbikes who reportedly followed a motorist home and struck before departing the scene. It is not clear if the police have apprehended any suspects in relation to those incidents. So the Yeng motorbikes are relatively low-cost units which are readily acquired by buyers. Ian Finnegan, blessings my brother. Make one way a reason from a rational perspective. Would you agree that more violent crimes are committed by persons on motorcycles than persons in cars in this country in recent times? The reality, whether you want to accept it or not, these bikes are a problem. Yeah? The bikes are a problem. And as I said earlier, I am not saying that you ban all bikes because you have many Jamaicans who depend on these bikes to earn a living. What I would want is for better supervision of them people there. You understand? So it needs to be regulated far more stringently, Zane, and greater supervision from the security forces is needed. It is too easy for a man just go buy a bike, lose a bike, and buy a next bike. You understand? So the reality is that something has to be done. It is easier to get away from the scene of a crime on a bike than on a car. The reality is that we say we want the country to be better, and we find a million excuses in trying to better the country. Then what we really want. So there has to be an improvement in how these bikes are regulated. That is the long and short of the story. So bringing up a mute point saying ban all cars then, it don't make no sense. That don't make no sense. Make we just face the facts. The bike them is a problem and it needs to be treated with. Of course, men go kill people in cars. See, but the reality is that the bike poses many, many issues. And something ought to be done to treat with it. Yeah? How will it be done? In fairness to the hard-working, honest Jamaicans who are earning a living versus the criminals them, I cannot say because it is not as straightforward as that. You understand? But something needs to be done. Cowie and Stones, you're deaf. You don't hear all of the problems. Or we say the thing a problem. So you ask me how bike a problem for. You don't listen. So listen before you ask question, family. Because, right, you know what? I'm done that stream. Because me as a man, I don't have no patience to deal with foolishness. Peeps, big up on yourself. You understand? Give thanks for the support. For the people that are there for the first time. Manners and respect. You understand? For the sensible, well-thinking Jamaicans who want a better country. Big up on yourself. Zane? Right, DeAndre, and I have no issue with that statement. Zane, the reality is that the government has, I don't even know if I say, with this situation for a long period of time, and they are to take some responsibility for it as well. Zane, however, there's an issue, and instead of complaining, we need to fix the issue. Simple maths. Bikes are a problem. Zane, the ones when man a ride, I will kill people. You understand what I say? And thing, not the man them where earn a living for them family. Legally. You understand? Zane, many people put food on them table and feed them children and send them children to school using these bikes. So, we understand that and we say there should be some form of way to ensure that these people are protected. But the man them will walk around and kill people on bike, brother. Something have to be done. Argument done. So nobody come to me no foolishness. Because more time, the fool talking them now are going nowhere. We just going to shut them down. You understand what I mean? So we don't justify crap around here. Zane, in everything there is good and bad. If there is bad, you find a way to deal with it. Simple maths. Peeps, big up on yourself. Give thanks. Appreciate the support. Sunday, 8:30. Make it a date and don't be late. Don't look for it. Get book feet. You know what I mean? Enjoy the weekend. You know the thing rough. So if you go on the street, you have to be careful. Also. You understand? COVID thing is still rough. Criminals them still enough. You understand? And the dirt is still tough. So you have to just open your eyes. Stay wise. You understand? And you know what I mean? Keep sanitized and them good things. Peeps, all good. Step with Jah. Safe travel upon the gravel. I'm out.
Thank you for tuning in. Like the stream before you go. Subscribe if you haven't done so. Remember to share the stream with your family and friends and browse the channel for more amazing content. Until next time, walk good, my friends.
Teach them! Hey, yo, yellow! Send the message and make it reach them. It's Teach Them, right here. Warlord representing.